Hello, I'm Mike Gordon. Welcome back to my perfect playthrough of Sonic Jam for the Sega Saturn. And today, since we have just unlocked all the time attack stages in time attack mode, we are going to take on Sonic 2's time attack today. You know, because we clear the game on easy mode, and as a reminder, time attack is based on the game's normal difficulty setting. So yeah, there are 11 zones, an average of 2 acts per zone. More or less, so if the average was perfect, it would basically amount to 10 zones, but whatever, it's 11. And we are going to go ahead and smoke these times. Absolutely smoke them. As I said, I am not a professional speedrunner, so... take this with a grain of salt. I decided to take the lower route, and then I managed to pivot up here, and I'm gone. Probably could have planned my route out a little better than this if I wanted. Like, I think a glitchless speedrun of the stage is like 19 seconds. But this is still pretty fast. 27:49. Now, mid-30, and the reason why it takes so long is apparently Sega has very little faith that we can beat Dr. Robotnik that quickly. Now I'm just gotta go flying across the stage. Just have to remain on the top half because it is the fastest route. And side note, the reason why I'm commenting, even though I don't have much to say, it's copyright issues. Yeah, I managed to get those, managed to two-cycle this fight. That definitely cutting it kind of close a couple times. So, that's Emerald Hill in the books. I waited just a second longer, it would have been a little faster. Likewise in Act 1, it would have been like a little faster, wait an extra 3 seconds, I think. And this time is gonna be really easy to blow past. So why am I jumping? It's literally because going up that little slant takes some time. And if I probably kind of would, at that point, I definitely wish I had 30 seconds instead of 29, because now we have to wait for the 50. The score doesn't matter, though. I'm gonna say, the score does not matter because lives and continues do not carry over in time attack mode. I barely got a sub 30. Like, I should... 6 milliseconds longer and it would have been... and I would have been saving a ton of time. And didn't feel the need to boost. Okay, I took the top route. That is ideal. to gain a fast time. And yeah, I know there are some tricks that allow you to sequence break. Honestly, not only am I not a fan of sequence breaks in perfect playthroughs, maybe I could let it stick if it was on accident, but it literally involves messing with Tails' AI, so he opens the gate to the left. And this is gonna be a huge time stage if I get it. Ooh, yeah. I don't know, I just like playing... Honestly, with Sonic, I just love playing the game the way the developers intended. And no, whenever I take shortcuts, those aren't sequence breaks because the shortcuts are there to take if you can use momentum to your in the level layout to your advantage. However, tricking the little door to open from the other side so you could cut a few seconds is a sequence break because you're playing the game in a way that you're not supposed to. And this one is gonna be very, very easy too. Just stick to the top path, it is the fastest way. Not gonna do any platforming, I'm just gonna shortcut my way here. I had to manipulate that arrows to come out so I could use that spring to go straight to the finish line. Otherwise, I would just hit the arrow and would have wasted time anyway, so that's why I jumped. Oh yeah, what are the differences between the normal and level design and the original and normal designs? I haven't really spotted them yet. So what I did was give myself as much distance so I could get in the water. I'm just gonna hold the down button until we get to this part, or I have to slow down a bit. We are almost there, so we don't need to wait for the bubbles. Wait for those bugs to come down. And because these totem poles were not spaced out like they were in the HD remasters, I can take this guy out super quick. It's a fair time. I have 50 rings that I guess score a 5,000, so 5,000, 5,000, it perfectly evens out. This would have been much more worthwhile if the clock said 45 seconds. But, you know. Interesting that Sega does not believe that people could get through Casino Night that quickly. I'm guessing they assume that people would stop to gamble in a time attack difficulty. Okay, maybe small kids. And gambling addicts, but... Ooh, I shortcutted that one pretty good. And I was just stuck to the ground for some reason. I think there was a collision. There was some sort of collision bug with that last or you can't uncurl, and when you're up, you can't even jump anymore. I don't get it, but we got a good time, really good time. 430, we should easily be able to sash this one. I think in addition to all the gambling and whatnot, I guess Sega also assumes they couldn't beat this 8-man boss super quickly. They thought wrong. I will say that the Casino Night Eggman boss, it's probably one of the hardest bosses in the game. I would say Metropolis, Wing Fortress, and the Death Egg Robot are the only bosses in this game that are actually harder. So definitely on the harder end. On the harder half of Sonic 2 boss tiers. Let's see how we cheese this boss. Just by hopping on his head. It wasn't perfect, but it went a long way in absolutely demolishing the 430 time by more than 3 minutes. So yeah, that is insane. Now we are taking on Hilltop. Believe it or not, I think Hilltop was like the 3rd level designed for this game, but was pushed ahead to level 5 for some reason. I guess to be fair, Aquatic Ruins and Casino Night are easier levels. I'm not gonna wait on the... Instead, I'm gonna try to grab this. I'm just gonna... Yeah, I am playing loose here. Yeah, because there's spikes down there. And that's it for this level. I kind of expected to get this time. Yeah, saved over almost 1:30 actually. Alright, this is another instance of the game not having much faith that we can defeat the boss super quickly, but I know what to do, and yes, I am going to take damage to save time. This is one of the few instances where it'd be a lot faster just taking the lower route. Alright, that is a difference with normal and original. That pillar wasn't there previously. That up and down pillar thing, that was there to catch your fall if you jump prematurely. But that wasn't there in the original. There will be a big difference between normal and original mode at the end of the game, but we'll get to that when we get to that. And we have no shield, we have no invincibility. But we do have rings. Tails could potentially sabotage us, but I'll just take the hit. It's faster anyways. Actually, it's not that faster, it's just I don't care. So long as I can survive the hit when I kill him, I don't care if I take the damage. The score doesn't carry over, the rings don't carry over. And I have no idea what Sega thought with those times for Mystic Cave. Mystic Cave doesn't take that long to clear. Like, no matter what route you take to get to the end, it doesn't take that long. Damaged it because that bug was in the way. Didn't want to wait for him. I wasn't gonna take the invincibility box. I don't need it. I didn't hear that sound in the Genesis version, nor that. Yeah, that sound wasn't there in the Genesis version. Yeah, I think it's okay, I guess. Let me see. About a second and a half away from a minute. Wouldn't save that much time, honestly. Mystic Cave 2, for some reason, is a shorter time, which is weird because they usually give the longer times to the boss acts. I just like grab the invincibility because it could be helpful. No, it wasn't. And I'm gonna take this dangerous route because there is the Spike Pit of Doom that we just passed. Narrowly avoided that spinning maze. And there were rings down there that weren't there previously in the original version. Yeah, normal and original version only has very small tweaks to the level design to make things more manageable for casual viewers. Otherwise, it's largely the same Sonic playing experience. And as another time, oil lotion. Now, did I say something about sequence breaks? Well, they have to be intentional sequence breaks. Accidental because you didn't know. I'm skipping the shield and just keep going. I'm catching those lips pretty consistently. Now, why am I not spin dash across the old Al below? Because you're not playing through the level when you're doing that. You're trying to cheese the game, and there's a high risk of failure too when you do it. That's why I didn't spin dash, because I knew these seahorses. And here it is. I hold left and I get shot all the way across the screen, where I can then finish the level. Look, if there was actual collision detection at the top, past the top of that screen where you could run across, this would still be absolutely legal. But because they didn't program it, they just try to shove you out of the way. So I just turn left so it shoves me to the right, the opposite direction where I'm gonna go, because the game thought I came from the right side. So yeah. That is a rare exception to the sequence breaking rule, because I didn't know about it. I had to do some research after recording this to find out about that. Otherwise, this is the same route I used when I nabbed Supersonic in Sonic 2 Easy mode. And I saved a bit of time with that Badnet Cop. This one is for security, so I could guide myself to the spring. No Supersonic this time. And just like that, we are already at the boss. So how do we take out the boss? Well, there is an invincibility monitor around here. That is going to help us take out one cycle of the Egg Submarine. Tails also needs the help. And I barely got the one cycle. And was only about 5 seconds slower than Act 1. And that was with the sequence break in Act 1. Yeah, I'm proud of this time. Hit 09 and 0.51. Hit 9.51 seconds. And of course, we are doing Metropolis Act 1. I can still understand why the times would be that long, since Metropolis can be fairly difficult to navigate, and you would probably be encouraged to be a bit cautious. You might not even know what direction is the best route to get to the finish. Yeah, I was trying to time it with the starfish and that crab because I knew the crab was there. Tails is gonna just glitch out here. Now he's gonna be more of a help to us, a hindrance. Sorry, Tails, but I'll leave you behind. There's a starfish as a prompt to jump out of the way. Gotta wait for those to come, and that's a shortcut. Please circumvent those spike boxes. Yeah, this looks like a really bad time, but you know what? I think it's pretty good. A pretty good time, all things considered. And how inconsistent! I did not get an extra life for gaining 100 rings, but they will sometimes reward me with an extra life if I hit the 1-up monitor, or hit across the 50,000 point threshold. 7 minutes for Act 2. Why the hell are the times so... They must really not have very much faith that a casual could get through this stage quickly. Anyways, we go the other way. Jumping down here, and I'm gonna ignore the shield. Alright, sorry. I'm gonna use my momentum to boost up here. Tails is an axe at this time, and I'm gonna hop past the grasshoppers. I used caution because I knew one of the tops was gonna. Some momentum on my side. Get through this part. Honestly, you could probably play this stage super casually and you'd still get a good enough time for first place. Now they're just holding our hand. Now they're just hand holding here. And of course, now it's back to a much more reasonable time. This side's 4 minutes to clear this act. That I can believe could be a pretty tricky time to get. Trying to say whatever Ty can't barely caught that. That was a very tough cycle to catch. And this is probably the most dangerous route I could take. I had to literally press the jump button at the end just to launch myself past the praying mantis Badnik, because that's literally a death trap. Otherwise. I took the shortest route possible. I took the hit there so I could take care of that Badnik. There was really no other way around it. Eventually I'm going to try to strain itself out so Tails wouldn't be such a nuisance and could be an asset. So there was one less starfish that we didn't have to worry about on the way up there, so that there normally would be in original mode, but in normal mode it's gone. The starfish is gone. This is also kind of gutsy. With just 7 rings, we're gonna try to speedrun this boss fight. Fortunately, it's really hard to hit him early on. Thanks, Tails. But as you hit him more and more, it becomes a little bit safe. The windows become a little bit wider and safer to hit him. And this is by far the worst time I've gotten in this entire playthrough of Sonic 2, but that's to be expected, because outside of huge sequence breaks to the end, this is about the fastest time you are expected to get. Sky Chase, all the first, second, third place laps are all identical because this is an auto-scroller level. So while I'm just fumbling around this stage, not really caring to farm for extra lives because it's pointless, I'm not even gonna try to avoid damage if possible. Well, I will avoid taking a death. That'll send you all the way back to the beginning of the stage, so that's bad in a stage like this. So while I'm going through the motions, as it were, trying to make it to the end. And let me remind you that I am splitting up the extra mode section for Sonic 2 into 3 parts. The reason why is because when you take into account that Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles are treated as 2 separate games in Sonic Jam, Sonic 3 is arguably the longest game in the series, rivaled only by Sonic & Knuckles itself, and that's mostly because their levels are long, themselves are long. Sonic 2, it's mostly because they have so many. But more to the point, but unlike Sonic & Knuckles, Sonic 2, there isn't really much you can do to make the special stage mode go by faster that I didn't show off in the previous episode. And I gotta show off his idle animation, which we basically never see. So I have some rings that'll help me get through to the very end, I'm sure. Just have to clear out these enemies up top. And all you have to do to get the first place time is hug the end of the screen, and that's literally it. I think the developers absolutely intended for you to crush those times. So yeah, I'm gonna save the special stages for next time. But in the meantime, there's Wing Fortress, and man, Sega completely underestimates the ability to skip huge chunks of this zone all at once. I know Wing Fortress is hard. It can be pretty difficult. But 6 minutes to clear? I doubt it. Like, even if you take the long way, it is still a pretty linear pathway to the end. So I take the damage manip, and there are platforms below that will make sure we don't fall to our death. We will take advantage of that. And so we don't have to wait for those disappear and reappearing platforms. Those platforms down below were not there in the original version of Sonic 2, but they are here in normal. And those 3 rings weren't there either in the original version of Sonic 2. Now this is gonna be where I will take damage no matter what, because I wanna take advantage of my invincibility to damage it a little. 2, 3, 4. Okay, I got 4 hits in 2 cycles. That's not bad. I didn't glitch my way to a better record, but now there is a possible bug with this sequence where Sonic will just not land on the biplane for whatever reason. I don't know what causes the bug though, but thankfully I don't have to worry about falling through the plane and dying during an automated cutscene. I think if you mess around with the original cartridge a bit, that might do something. That might glitch the game out and essentially soft lock you out of ever completing it. So now all we have left is Death Egg, and we're talking about world, and I'm trying to do something I don't think I've ever done in a perfect playthrough of Sonic 2, and that's one cycle the final boss. Silver Sonic, the fastest you can do is a 2 cycle. And yeah, I think those times are a bit reasonable, but again, I'm gonna absolutely tear that time apart. And of course, rings. 6 rings they give you, which were not present in the normal difficulty setting, so obviously Sega believes that, yeah, we may have screwed up and made the final battle a little too difficult. And another 6 rings, I would say, so up to 12 rings. So we have to stand by his buttocks, take 2 of those hits. You kind of have to finagle so he bounces out of his jetpack. I took the damage. Ooh, cut some world record territory. Man, that sucks. But that is all the time attack stages done. Just showing off my handiwork. We've completed all of Sonic 2 special stages on time attack. Next time we are taking on the special stages of Sonic 2. If you like this video, leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. With all out of the way, this is Mike Gordon, sign out.